the problem of Nigeria is that the policies are against the people. That is why even the court itself cannot be able to overturn that policy, because they are also functioning. They are part of the Nigerian system. Now, let us not dwell so much on this, because Nigeria, a lot is happening in Nigeria on a daily basis. And because of such happening in Nigeria every day, that is why a lot of people are not interested in hearing the problem of Nigeria, because when you pay attention to the problem of Nigeria, it will break you. It will break you. Now, let me go to this solution that somebody proffered on Twitter. Let me read this. This is from one of our IPOB offices overseas. This is from IPOB Liverpool Central, and it says, this is a letter to UK in Nigeria. So UK in Nigeria, they do not have any excuse to say we are not aware of what is happening. They are aware. Now let me read this later. Very wonderfully written. It says, "Dear UK in Nigeria, is this the nation you are forcing Biafrans to remain a part of?" The same, I mean, I'm talking about the same nation that I believe he's talking about, the same nation that Obasanjo said is sitting on a keg of gunpowder. So he's asking UK, is this the nation you are forcing Biafrans to remain a part of? Heaven forbid. We cannot accept hypocritical lectures from you. Instead, we aspire to live in a lawful country that respects the law. If lawlessness is deemed undesirable in your land, why do you wish it upon others? Which is a very, very good question. If lawlessness is deemed undesirable in Britain, why is Britain wishing that people live in a place of perpetual lawlessness, a place with no desire to change, a place that cannot even desire to change? Now let me continue with this post. It says, our resolve to leave Nigeria is driven by love, not hatred. This is correct. We cannot coexist in a country with these so-called leaders who act no better than caged animals. We cannot coexist in a country with these so-called leaders who act no better than caged animals. Leaders like Obasanjo that I had mentioned earlier, that would go to South Africa and speak and mediate for peace in Ethiopia whilst his country was burning, that will speak about his country sitting on a keg of gunpowder, but will still offer the same solution that has been implemented for over 60 years without any change. Rather, the solutions they are implementing are actually making the country worse. Actually making the country worse. Now, I want to go to the next, because if you have time, do go on Twitter. You'll find very interesting write-ups from our people. Very, very interesting write-ups. I want to go to the next because there is a lot happening in Nigeria, and it is very, very important that the people understand what the government, the people that are supposed to protect Nigerians, are pushing Nigerians into. Those who are supposed to protect Nigerians, what they are pushing Nigerians into. And this is a report from Amnesty This is from their website, amnesty.org. It says, Nigeria, authorities must disclose identities of NSAS protesters due for mass burial. Now, these NSAS protesters that their identities are being asked to be disclosed by Amnesty International's are the 103, persons that the Lagos state government put in a morgue, in a mortuary, since 2020, since October 2020 that they massacred, since October 2020 that NSAS protest began. NSAS protest was held. And the Nigeria government came out plainly and said that they shot in the air, the army shot in the air. If I remember properly, the governor of Lagos State said 1 or 2 people died. And then America now came out with a report to support the Nigeria government, saying that those that were killed, that those that died, that one of them got a gunshot wound somewhere else, far from where this problem happened, far from where the massacre happened, and that the other one, the injury shows that the person did not die as a result of NSAS. And because of these things, this is the reason why Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is in DSS dungeon. Because rather than America to stand up for the people, they are standing with a government that has shown absolute disregard, absolute hate for the law. Now let me go ahead and read this. This is from Amnesty International. It says, Nigeria, authorities must disclose identities of NSAS protesters due for mass burial. Responding to a leaked government memo dated 19 July 2023, which was addressed to the Lagos State Ministry of Health and indicated that the state government had approved more than 61 million naira for the mass burial of 103 persons identified as victims of the NSAS protest in October 2020. Issa Sanusi, director of Amnesty International Nigeria, said, I wonder, let me stop here a bit because I wonder why Issa Sanusi is still the director of Amnesty International Nigeria. I wonder why he is still the director of Amnesty International. But that is a conversation for another day. The Nigerian authorities must urgently halt their plans to carry out a secret mass burial of NSAS victims and instead carry out a thorough and independent investigation into the killings and ensure that those suspected to be responsible are brought to justice in fair trials. They must also carry out transparent coroner inquests and autopsies on the 103 NSAS victims and publish their identities and circumstances of their death. I find this really, this information, this request really, I don't know how to put it, because it is the same Nigeria government that have shown that they do not care about these people. They have shown a total disregard to the lives of Nigerians. They created SARS that ended up killing the people, harvesting their organs. When the people said enough is enough, they said no. Rather than enough, we don't want to hear your voice, we'll kill you. People who were waving the Nigerian flag, proudly waving the Zoological Republic's flag, they massacred them. And now they even lied about it after the massacre. Now they are releasing 103 victims. How is it that the same government that is committing this atrocity will still be able to carry out really transparent inquest. The investigation must be independent. The investigation must be independent because the Nigeria government, they do not have what it takes to show transparency. I commend Amnesty for this report because in recent years, we have seen total silence on the atrocities happening in Nigeria. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is a victim of the lawlessness of the Nigerian government. And I am still waiting for them to do what is necessary by making sure that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is released according to the law. Because this is the law, the pronouncement by the courts, different courts, that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu should be released. Now, this is also from Sahara Reporters. It says, NSAS victims, 103 NSAS victims. Civil society leaders accuse Lagos government of cover-up. Demand immediate independent probe. Action. Okay. I will go to the next because this is a problem that Nigerian people must realize, that if the government could kill them for asking for a good life and lie about it to cover it up, waited for 3 years now, waited for almost 3 years to bring them out to bury, which means they were waiting for Nigerians to be tired and to forget, so that they will bury them without their families even knowing. Bury them without their families knowing. This is really bad. Sahara Reporters also say global coalition petitions International Criminal Court, demands prosecution of ex-President Buhari, Lai Mohammed, Governor Sanwo-Olu over mass burial of 103 NSAS casualties. They must investigate to find out more people who are involved in this, because it is also possible that Tinubu has a lot to do with this. A lot of people in Nigeria, a lot of them must be involved in this. A lot of them. It is the responsibility of Nigerians to rise up for themselves. You cannot be dying on a daily basis. You have seen the Nigeria judiciary that they are not interested in your protection. They are not interested in saving you and saving the country that you are trying to protect. It is you that must save yourself. And that is why Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is in DSS dungeon today, because he is speaking up on your behalf so that you can save yourself. Because the justice of Nigeria have shown that there is actually no justice in Nigeria. Now, this is from Arise News. It says, Horiwa seeks nullification of Nigeria's Chief Justice's son as judge. It says Horiwa seeks nullification of Nigeria's Chief Justice's son as judge. The group described it as an abuse of power. An abuse of power by the Nigerian Chief Justice. The Nigerian Chief Justice. And he is not acting alone. There are other people there who made sure that his son is that his son is appointed for the post of a judge of Federal High Court in Nigeria. This is despite the fact that rightfully his name shouldn't have even appeared. Okay, I don't want to go into this because there is a lot to talk about when it comes to the Nigeria judiciary. And I believe we are all seeing the state of the Nigeria judiciary today. The state of the Nigeria judiciary today is one that shows that you cannot trust on them to defend you. You can't trust on them to defend you because even when one or two good ones there stand up and say what is right, the DSS will thwart their judgment. The DSS will say to them, we don't care about your judgment. The police will say to them, we don't care about your judgment. As a matter of fact, there is no power in the Nigeria judiciary anymore. An innocent man like Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has been in the Nigeria dungeon of the DSS for over 2 years. Over 2 years. And this has been because of the Nigeria judiciary. The justice, they have helped the government and the DSS to ensure that an innocent man who is trying to actually, what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is doing is to give credence to the judiciary by demanding that the rule of law be followed through the process of referendum. That is giving back the power to the people, which is what democratic principle is about, which is what democracy is about. When you give back power to the people, you empower the judiciary because the people, they decide what law should be made and should be what law should their country must have in place. So it gives credence to the judiciary. But what has the judiciary done? They have sabotaged this effort to show you that the Nigeria judiciary cannot be rescued. The solution is a referendum for the people to rise up in their numbers and say enough is enough. And because of the behavior of the judiciary, because of their support for lawlessness, the DSS are able to behave anyhow they want to behave. The DSS refused to release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu from their custody, from their dungeon, despite Nigeria courts demanding for his release, despite the UN giving opinion that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu should be released. Now, this is why these other news also happen. DSS officers, prison officials fight over custody of MFELE. This is from the cable, thecable.ng. This is from the cable. It says, operatives of the Department of State Services, DSS, and Nigerian Correctional Service, NCOS, are currently fighting over the custody of Godwin Emefiele, suspended governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria. Suspended governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria. Why was he suspended? In Nigeria, they can wake up tomorrow and say to you, we do not care about you. We are suspending you. And that is it. And that is it. And then they start the persecution. Now let us listen to this report.
The country you say we are united and our unity is in our diversity. You just talk, you don't walk the talk. In this country, rule of law must be entrenched. That is why we are here. He must apologize to me for leveling. I am okay, the kingdom.
Good viewers, I hope you saw what happened to the Federal High Court Lagos about the custody of Nnamdi, who is going to take possession of Nnamdi. Actually, court gave an order, bailing Nnamdi. So maybe the DSS want to rearrest him, and the prison service as well want to obey the court order and put them in their custody before the bail condition will be met. It is so unfortunate, and what happens today is an international disgrace. People are watching Nigeria, and I'm so marveled and I'm so ashamed about this country called Nigeria. How different security operatives be fighting over an order God gave. This is very shameful. What are they fighting for? I don't understand what is going on. Maybe this NFLS arrest could be political. Because if it is not political, these people will not have interest to take him. These people will have interest to take him. And two security operatives will be fighting between each other. But one of the lawyers among the legal team of NFLS has something to tell us about what really transpired. Let us know whether this thing that is going on is political, or they just really want to break the law, or they want to punish this man because of cashless policy he brought, and also the naira scarcity. I just don't know what really transpired. But take your time and watch this video to the end.
Okay, mine, because my colleagues, they've made valid points and accurately represented what happened in court earlier today. And to further show you what happened in court today, this is the order of the Federal High Court, which lawyers to Emefiele are about to perfect as we speak now. And we have always stood for the rule of law. And our presence here today is to ensure that the sanctity of our laws are respected, that the provisions of our laws are respected, that judgments of courts are obeyed, and orders of all court purely executed as it is, both in form and as it is found on the paper. So the DSS attempt to further humiliate and arrest Mr. Emefiele is a desecration of the temple of justice. In fact, it's disobedience of that court order, which is very clear. Release the man on bail if he meets certain conditions, and then if he fails to meet those conditions, let him be remanded in Nigeria Correctional Service Center. So that is the order of court. Whoever you are not allowed to disobey that order. It is immaterial whether your gun is as big as the vehicle behind me. It's as big as the vehicle as the house behind me. What we are asking you to do is that as a creation, the SSS is a creation of the law. It is an institution established by our laws. They must respect our laws, and the only way they should respect our laws today is to go home and report to their superiors what happened in court today. And attempt to rearrest him in court. First of all, if rearresting him in court is a complete desecration of the temple of justice, as I said earlier. And then, not only that, it will be a disobedience of court order and an invitation to anarchy. And who knows what this will result to. It is better we warn that we told the path of peace and the rule of law, and that is why we are here. Obey our laws, obey our constitution, and everybody will go home in peace. And as I've always said, one day their own time will come. It is this same institution that they desecrate today that they will come back to. The court is the last hope of the common man. It is Emefiele today.
In trying to perfect his bail conditions, because according to report that we have right here, men of the DSS are trying to pick him up afresh for another matter entirely different from what we have right here, right now. And some lawyers are raising objection that it's going to amount to desecration of the judicial system, of the court system, for the DSS to arrest him thereafter. We can now also see some prison warders standing by also to pick him up as well, to maybe keep him in their custody pending the time that he will perfect the bail conditions. But right now is the atmosphere is kind of pensive as people are watching out for a possible drama around here. That courtroom, we see Mr. Emefiele inside that courtroom, filling the bail papers and waiting perhaps for his bail conditions to be perfected but the DSS insists, and that's why they are standing around, that they must pick him up. While another trial entirely different from what we have right here. So we are still standing by. We'll keep our cameras rolling in anticipation of a possible drama right here, right now. But let me also remind our viewers that a moment ago, the court granted Mr. Emefiele a bail worth 20 million naira and one surety in like sum who must have a property in Lagos. So we don't know how much of that papers have been signed inside, because the suspended CBN governor is still inside that court. He pleaded earlier not guilty to the allegation of being in possession of firearms without appropriate license, and the judge listened to the argument of the government prosecution team and of course his own lawyers, and at the end of the day decided to grant him that bail of 20 million naira. So let's keep a tab on what is happening here. Let's keep we'll just stand by here to see what happens at the end of the day.
Baba, if you know this information, do you know where they will be taking, where the DSS plans to take him after he finishes filling out his paperwork on a second charge? And also, approximately how many DSS members are on ground right now?
I want to come in here because this is one of the reasons why Nigeria cannot be solved. There is no solution to the Nigerian problem. Now, look at a reporter. The court has already given this man a bail, and rather than allow this man to go home like they should, the reporter is talking about where the DSS will keep him after signing. Where else did she think that DSS will keep him? Why should the DSS even keep him? This is to begin with. Why would the DSS keep him? This is the question that this reporter is supposed to be asking. Why? Because it is unlawful, but she has already admitted it and she's asking the question so that people who are watching will agree that it is okay. It is okay for the DSS to disregard the ruling of the court. This is why Nigeria cannot work, because all the sectors that are supposed to promote good governance, they are part of the problem. Look at the question that a reporter that is supposed to promote the consciousness of the people is asking, rather than to ask the relevant questions as to why the DSS would go against court order. It is very clear that even when I started this program and I read the comment by Obasanjo about Nigeria sitting on a keg of gunpowder, you also were able to understand that these people, that the Nigerian system produces people who focus on programs of the state, that it does not matter, to the point that it doesn't matter how detrimental these programs are on the people, how detrimental their policies are on the people. They don't care. All they care is the state or whatever arm or whatever police or whatever authority has said it. That is, they don't question it. It is very clear that the Nigerian system, though they do not produce leaders, because leaders are committed to the people, and it is the people that decide the law of the country, and the law is supposed to protect the people. Now the law has said, let this man go on bail, which means he's supposed to be handed into the hands of the prison warders until he has met the conditions of his bail. But that is not the process of the Nigerian government. They don't care about the law. and the people that the system produces at all spheres, they are committed to that same system that is not working. That is why Obasanjo cannot proffer a workable solution. Rather, they will still go back to the same solution that has put Nigeria into the hellhole that it is. Because they are not committed to the people. They are not even committed to the democracy that they are supposed to be practicing. They are not committed to the will of the people, which is what democracy is about. But it is clear that the will of the people is of no importance to Nigerian reporters. It is of no importance to Nigeria DSS, the security. It is of no importance to the Nigerian government. It is also of no importance to the judiciary. The judiciary kept Mazi Nnamdi Kanu there for 2 years, over 2 years. Over 2 years. The judiciary cannot say that they are not aware of the fact that evidence should be should be subjected to proper examination to ensure that the Nigeria government is not forging and creating evidences to back up their ridiculous charges that the court already discharged. And they have asked us to wait till September. In September, they are supposed to free Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. There is not supposed to be any other question. There is not supposed to be any other question, including the question of insecurity. The Nigeria government is the one that is responsible for offering answers, not offering speculations. 30 seconds 30 seconds is it investigation. They just come to the scene, they say, oh no, it is IPOB, because that is what they already planned. And the judiciary, they see this, yet they have kept an innocent man in the DSS dungeon for over 2 years. This alone can give the DSS the audacity to do whatever they want with the judiciary. This alone gives the DSS the effrontery to disregard the ruling of the Nigeria judiciary. What then is the purpose of the justice system in Nigeria? Why then is there a justice system in Nigeria? If there is no justice system that is operational in Nigeria, then separate the people. Let the people decide on how to solve this problem. Because without the law, the people are just going to turn it. It will be, the Nigeria is worse than a jungle. I can't say it will be a jungle, because already Nigeria is worse than a jungle.
We don't know where the DSS will be taking him to, but it is certain that they want to take him into their custody. Remember that for several weeks he has been in the custody of the DSS until a court ruled that they either took him to court or they should just release him on bail. And that was what triggered the DSS in taking certain actions, including what we are seeing here today. He has been in their custody almost perpetually until now. So if they succeed in taking him from here right now, they will take him into their custody and he will remain with them.
I want to remind you that while in the DSS dungeon, while in the DSS custody, that the DSS, they denied him access to his lawyers as well, because according to a report a few days ago from the lawyer, one of his lawyers said that he did not appear in court. He did not appear in court, another case that he has, because the DSS refused to bring him to that court. And now when they finally even coming to this court, the court had to force DSS to bring him to this particular court. And then after the court judgment, the DSS decided we cannot let this man into the hands of the prison, the wardens. We do not care. That's what they said, that they do not care about the law. They have no regard for the judgment of the court. And they kept him there, making him miss his other court date. How can Nigeria get better when every system, there is no system in Nigeria that is functional? How then can you revive something that is dead?
By the court, then after you'll be released on bail from that correctional service. That is the tradition. But the DSS can also claim that is a high, it's a big case. That it's a big case of, in terms of the magnitude of the case. Therefore, they may also claim that perhaps the correctional services may not have enough security to keep him in their custody.
Did you hear how this man tried to justify the actions of the DSS? Even before the DSS did it, he already tried to justify, he already justified the actions of the DSS before they broke the law. He already justified it. Why, if DSS can actually prove that this is a high magnitude case, like he justified it, why did they not prove it in the court? Why did they not prove it in the court? Who are they justifying it to? To themselves, because they have no court that gave them that. They are not proving it to anybody. Who then are they proving it to? Or who then did they prove it to when they abducted this man? Who then did? You see, this is why there is no functional system in Nigeria, including the news agencies themselves. The same news agencies that IPOB has come out severally to condemn those who are killing our people, causing insecurity in our land in the name of sit at home. Yet they always want to find a way to bring IPOB into their sit at home. Every time they always try with the politicians, all of them, including Enugu State governor, since he came in. He did not start today. The moment Enugu State governor came in, he started his propaganda against IPOB. The very moment he stepped into office, that day was the day he started his propaganda against IPOB. And this is somebody who came saying that he wants to work for the people. This is somebody who came saying he wants to work for the people. Nigeria is not workable because they will always come with a subterfuge. Tell you, oh no, we want to do this, we want to do that. I saw the plan of Abia State governor today, and a lot of people were applauding him. Oh, you want to? He said he plans to have more like a business, industrial, more like a business estate. Very, very good idea. Very, very good idea. But we are still hoping that he will be able to stand strong and do it. Because Nigerians, everybody, we have lost. There is no hope in Nigeria. That is the simple fact. That is the simple truth. There is no hope in Nigeria. None whatsoever. That is why the people behave to be oblivious to the problem in Nigeria. Because Nigeria have rendered the people hopeless. When there is no hope in Nigeria, the people become hopeless. The courts make a mess out of themselves. Therefore, the DSS can disrespect them whichever way they want. The governors come out there, make a mess out of themselves, facilitate terrorism in their states. Look at Imo State, for instance. Hope Uzodinma. Massacring the people in his state, creating the highest level of insecurity I've ever seen in our land. The DSS that is busy disobeying the court's order. Look at what is happening in Nigeria. It says Nigeria, Muslims murder 37 Christians in Benue State. But the DSS, the Secret Service, did not preempt this. They did not know about this. They did not stop this. They couldn't. They are busy chasing people because they are Igbos. This is why anybody who is talking about one Nigeria is supporting a crime against humanity. It says here, there hasn't been much news of the jihad in Nigeria recently. You see the media. The media itself, they are part and parcel of the problem. There hasn't been much news of the jihad in Nigeria lately, but this is not because things have calmed down. The Nigerian media, apparently under pressure from the government, has begun to imitate the Western media. That is the media that what's its name? That the US and Britain, BBC and CNN, at least the Western media. The Nigeria, their media, they don't care about the people. All they care about is making sure that they report whatever they are asked to. It says here, instead of noting that these attacks were carried out by Fulani herdsmen or Boko Haram, which would indicate that they were jihad attacks, Nigerian media outlets have begun referring to the attackers solely as bandits or gunmen. This is the case of Nigeria today. This is how bad it is in Nigeria today. All the facilities in Nigeria, they are not working. Now, someone would ask, why would the Nigeria government pressure the media into not indicating the seriousness of this attack and not ensuring that the people who attack and kill innocent people are properly called out? Why is the government not even using the Secret Service to find out these attacks before they happen so that they can foil them? Why? Now let me read this post from Amnesty International. It says, in December 2015, Nigerian army carried out mass slaughter of hundreds of men, women and children, supporters of IMN in Zaria. The attempted cover-up of this crime demonstrates an utter contempt for human life and accountability. Between December 12 to 14, soldiers massacred over 350 IMN supporters in Gailesu, Zaria. They also threw grenade into a room full of women and children. This is Nigerian soldiers. They threw grenade into a room full of women and children to cover up this crime. Those killed during the incidents were secretly buried in mass graves. And then they posted a picture of the mass grave and said, like the one in this picture. And then it went on to say, bodies of men, children, and infants were left littered on the streets. And infants, men, women, children, infants were littered on the streets and piled outside the mortuary. Piled outside the mortuary. That is those ones who are not littered on the streets are piled at the mortuary. Those who were badly injured could not escape, and could not escape were burned alive. This is Nigeria. This is happening in Nigeria, a place where people are trying to promote, a place where Britain they do not want to say anything, a place where America is not saying enough is enough. Stop this genocide. In Biafra land today, people are being killed by the government. By the government. State sponsored. State sponsored. By the government. People who are supposed to protect them. Now that is why the courts don't even have powers. Remember that even the Nigeria security invaded the homes of these judges. Some of these judges, those that discharged and acquitted Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in the appeal court, remember the punishment that Nigeria government gave to them for upholding the law. Those ones who now disrespected the law by staying an execution that the same court gave in a kind of case that is not supposed to. Those ones are the ones that are being favored with opportunities. Favored. Even the people in charge of Nigeria court, the Chief Justice and all of that, they don't care about the due process. They don't care about giving positions to people who are qualified. They bring their children and impose them on the people, whether they know the law or not, so that they will continue the disrespect of the law, so that they can continue messing up the lives of the people. Nigerians, it is up to you. The solution of your problem is in your hands. The solution to your problem is in your hands. Don't let anybody fool you and tell you, oh, this government is working, this government will do this government will do that. They will not. They created the problem. They cannot solve the problem. They cannot solve the problem that they created. They cannot solve the problem that they created. Now, Nigerians, why am I encouraging you? You have been killed enough. You have been maligned enough. Even when you say, stop killing us, they kill you more. And they hide your bodies. Your mothers are even afraid to speak out because they think that maybe if they speak up, your life will be in danger. But they have forgotten that by keeping quiet, even your life is in danger. They killed your brother, killed your sister, and your mothers kept quiet because they are trying to protect you. But it is you that will say to your mother, no, you are not doing the right thing. You are not protecting me by keeping quiet. Rather, you are just allowing me to fatten up. Let me eat food, eat shawarma, eat nkwobi, eat whatever, ewedu. So that one day when your organ is ripe and one idiotic security sees you and say, this one, just carry you into one of their places and harvest your organ. So if your mother had known, your father had known, they would have spoken out in time. These ones that died, these ones that are being killed, this one's 37, killed in Benue State. If they had known that they were going to be slaughtered like this, like chickens, they would have risen up before. They would have risen up earlier on, burn down, do whatever they want to do, and ensure that they leave. bring down that system that is killing them. You heard what the lawyer said. He said, today it is this person being persecuted. Tomorrow it may be you. It may be you, it will be you tomorrow. Because as long as you wake up in Nigeria, you are being persecuted by Nigeria. If not by the courts, by the police. If not by the police, by the army. Why are you afraid to change your life? I was reading a book one day and the person said that actually we are not afraid of changing our lives, that it is that we are afraid of good things happening to us. And I began to wonder. He said it is because we are afraid of succeeding. That is why we don't rise up to challenge our situations. Because we are afraid that if I rise up, I will succeed, and things will change. But because you are used to a very deplorable state, you don't want to rise up. You are used to being chased like animals. You are used to being treated like animals. That is why you don't want to rise up. That is why just in few days of coming to office, the Enugu State governor was able to tell you that the day that you said, I will give this day to our leader, and our leader said to you, no, we don't want you to suffer. We don't want your economy to suffer. Go about your businesses. Enugu State governor said, you don't have the right to sit at home. You don't. That's what he said. And he went about destroying your business because he's telling you that your right as a citizen to protest lawfully, even by sitting at home, he said, I will punish you for that. I will take that right away from you. And you are quiet. And you are still quiet. Now let me read to you what is happening in Mali, because you are still there under persecution. You don't know what freedom feels like. You don't even know what good life feels like. Your mother doesn't know or didn't know what good life feels like or felt like. Your grandfather, your grandmother didn't know. Because this thing has gone for generations and you don't even know what good life feels like. I am telling you, good life feels better than going to America. Freedom, that is good life. It feels better than getting American visa. You see, American visa, freedom feels better than that. Knowing that even while Oyibo no go come to your country, they wale you. They can't come to your country and even harass you. They can't come, even police cannot. When police see you, they even greet you. When you say, oh, I am having headache, the way the government will rush to you to be able to save your life, because they know you are valuable to them. You have value to them. But because you do not understand the value you have, you don't want to do anything to change your status, because you are afraid that if you rise up tomorrow at Lekki Toll Gate and say, we want to change this thing, and even if you come here and threaten us, we will not shift a step. If you say tomorrow, we will all close up everything, shut the country down, we won't do anything. Those who feel like they want to do, like the police and army, they can be there. Nobody they will see. Do you know you can do it? But you are afraid. You are afraid because you are used to being subjugated. You are afraid of something new happening to you. That is why you sabotage the person next to you. You sabotage even yourself, because when you sabotage the person next to you, you are sabotaging yourself. When you are sabotaging the movement that is supposed to deliver you and give you a good life, are you not sabotaging yourself? Because the state has forced you not to love yourself. You don't even love yourself. So you are afraid that if you try and stand up, that you will succeed. You will succeed and your organs will not be harvested anymore. And you will now be living a very good life. Your sons, your daughters will come out, graduate from school. You, even before they graduate, they are able to afford, you are able to afford a brand new car for them. As soon as they graduate from the university, they are able to be given accommodation, housing for them, that they can live and say, yes, my mother, my father stood on the street and did the needful and ensured that I get what I am getting today. But no, you would rather go to the same court that you know that has failed you over and over and over, because you are afraid of succeeding. You know that the court will fail you, but you still go. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has shown us that Nigeria court system cannot be trusted. For 2 years now he's there. The good ones there, they try to suppress them. They try to suppress the good ones. Are you good to yourself? If you are good to yourself, what are you doing in the needful to ensure that you give yourself a better life? As a chief justice, as whatever you are, as somebody in a place of justice, what are you doing to make sure that you expel justice? You can't give what you don't have. If you don't love yourself, how can you give justice? How? Do you love yourself? If you don't love yourself, how will you stand up for yourself when you don't love yourself? You are so afraid that when you stand up for yourself that you succeed, that you don't even want to stand. And when you hear people standing, you start speaking ill against them. Rather than gather and say, these criminals, today is your last day. We must all learn to rise up. We must all learn to rise up, because the challenge is there for you and for me. For you and for me. It is not for you alone. When you rise up, others will rise. Believe you me, when you rise up, others will rise. Others are waiting for you. They are counting on you. Yes, you. They are counting on you. Don't say, what do I have to offer? You have your phone. Do you know that DJ Switch, I believe that's her name, used just the phone to spread her message? To spread the message that today NSAS, people who rose up for NSAS, are being praised. And forever they will remain saints. You can use your phone. You can do it. I have absolute trust that when Nigerians rise up to say enough is enough, that those who are persecuting them will be on their knees begging them and saying, what can we do? What can we do? What can we do? I will open up the line here because honestly, what is it happening in Nigeria is too much. We cannot have enough conversation around it. And the line to call is +27 78 064 5457. If you want to be part of this conversation, the line to call is +27 78 064 5457. I did not touch majorly on the issue of Enugu State, because this is an issue that I have been talking about. I have been talking about this man, and I believe that it is not the end of it. We'll keep talking about it, but I want to now show you the benefits that people in other places are having. This is from Mali, and this is at Mazi Chinasa Twitter handle. He posted this. He says, breaking. Mali scraps French. Let me, yes, it says breaking. Mali scraps French as official language with its new constitution. Mali has dropped French, which has been the West African country's official language since 1960. Even since 1960, they were able to break their own yokes. Why can't you break your own yoke? Who told you it's not possible? Who told you? Who told you it's not possible? Eh? All that Nigerians know is what is that thing they say? The God of who said it's not possible or something like that. We spiritualize. We make everything religious. God will not do for you what He has created you to do. He won't come down and do for you what He wants you to do. It is your actions that even give Him glory. It is your actions that even give Him glory. I have a caller on the line. Caller, you are live on Radio Biafra Motherland. Please go ahead, introduce yourself and your opinion in 4 minutes. Ndeo.
Mazi, are you referring to me?
I am referring to you, sir. Please go ahead.
Oh, okay. Good evening, my professor. It's Mazi John Iheke. I'm calling from Abidjan, Ivory Coast. I hail from Ameke Alaye in Bende, local government, Umuahia province. This evening, I appreciate your submission. This evening, Nigeria or zoo have no alternative to release Nnamdi Kanu, our leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. He has been vindicated in every sphere of life. Everything that he said is happening, and we are seeing it before our eyes. But I don't know why these people are so devilish-hearted. Because see, this is 2 years and some months now, they are ahead of my leader. And what they are doing is happening to every one of them. Even those that didn't believe in Biafra. Whereas they are Biafrans. I'm talking about what the shenanigans of South. Now, the case of the Nigerian or zoo governor, ex-governor of CBN, Governor Mefele, they are playing with the young man because they have used him, like our leader said, that he will serve the zoo and come back in shame. This is his shame. So, but will the other people reason or take it as a lesson? But Mazi Sochima Ambanane, I want to ask a question. What did we, the Igbos, or let me say Biafrans, did to this very Britain that they didn't want to let us breathe? That is my question this evening. What did we do to Britain? Because I know everything that is happening is Britain. My father told me how his grandfather told him how we fought them in Ohafia and in Bende in our place. Till now, they are still keeping us down because it is not Nigeria. What is Nigeria? It is the Britain. What did we, the Igbos and we, the Biafrans, did to these people? That is my question. Please, Mazi, I raise my case.
Thank you very much, Mazi. I appreciate your contribution. Thank you and thank you. The issue of what we did to Britain, I believe it is a survival of the fittest to begin with. This world is about the survival of the fittest to begin with. And secondly, it is not really about what we did to them. I know, yes, we fought them, yes, and I believe that is the reason why they respect us to begin with. Because if they have to always pay attention to us, it means they respect us. It means they have respect for us. I also believe that one, it is survival of the fittest. Two, it is the process of life. If until you are able to how should I put it? Until you are strong enough, then that is the only time that you will be free. Because once the fittest takes over you and you want to free yourself, you have to do whatever it takes to free yourself. I don't see this as a personal issue. No. They had an opportunity to engage in a relationship with the Fulanis, which dated a while longer than they dated. Their relationship with the Fulanis dated a while. So you are supposed to maintain a relationship that you have had longer than one that you just met. It is like somebody getting married to somebody new, and you leave the old one that you know, that you have been with for a long time, for the new one. It doesn't make sense. So it is our responsibility, rather than check what we did to these people, we must find what we need to do in order to counter their what is the word I would use? In order to counter their leverage on us or their power over us. Because even though we did not do them anything, that is how life is. Them themselves, they were conquered and held as slaves for hundreds of years. For hundreds of years. Even if people are not subjected to problems, they cannot get forward. They cannot move forward. They will be stuck in where they are, in the mediocrity that they have found themselves. That is why this is an opportunity rather than a problem. It is an opportunity for Nigerians to understand that this will even make us build a better and stronger country once we're able to free ourselves from this and motivate us to fight stronger. But I believe perhaps tomorrow we will touch more on the issue of Britain and their involvement in the lives of Biafrans and Nigerians as a whole. Thank you very much, Mazi. I have another caller on the line. Caller, you are live on Radio Biafra Motherland. Please go ahead, introduce yourself and your opinion in 4 minutes. Mazi, you are not audible. Can you please try to, I don't know.
Okay. Can you hear me, Mazi?
Yes, I can hear you now. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Machineke. God bless you. Biafrans are lovers of freedom. Mazi, I will answer your last caller. He asked the question, what did we do that Britain is against us? The answer is not far-fetched. It's simple. The answer is because you're a Biafran. And for you to be a Biafran, which means you're a child of heaven, and you have everything that Britain needs to survive. Everything in life that Britain wants to make advance their democracy and their nation's economy is in your land. And for that singular purpose, you must be annihilated, it must be destroyed, it must be extinguished from the surface of the earth for Britain to remain the Great Britain. Just like as Mazi said, it's a war for survival. So you as a Biafran that is living today, know that you are in a war of survival. And survival is for the fittest, it's not for the chicken-hearted ones. That's why everybody needs to embrace this tempo. Our people sometimes, we are too relaxed. People don't relax like that in this 21st century because the world has never known peace. Even the Bible says that the kingdom of God suffers violence. If kingdom of God had to suffer violence, not to talk more of this earth, if there's anything called heaven, but I know that where we are is in our own heaven. Biafra land is my own heaven. This is where I will die. This is where I will be buried. This is where I will reincarnate. This is where I will come back. Century, it didn't start with me. My ancestors have lived age long and reincarnate before it get to me. So Britain as an entity, remember our ancestors fought them for 37 years. We defeated them. It took them only 1 year, 1.5 years. Is it up to 5 months or 9 months to conquer even the west and the north, entire north, the Fulanis. But in Biafra land, they met the Iron Doom, which lasted for 37 years. It's not a child's play. So they know what they are up against, and they are determined to distinguish the Igbo race, the Biafran, from the surface of the earth. They are doing it diplomatically, militarily, and spiritually. They are up for their game. So, but let me not dive too much into that. Mazi, the reason why I call this the killing in our land today. Can you imagine that in Aba, this JTF, they have been terrorizing. They are the problem Aba have. These people have been in our land since the time of Usikampo, that gave birth to militarization of Igbo land and Abia State. These people have never left our land. They have been killing. In every little provocation they come. Today they enter area, ransack people and killing people. On the other hand, what is his name? Pitamba, a Fulani stooge in Enugu State, because where I begin to suspect that man is immediately the DSS begin to defend him that he didn't forge certificate. I ask myself, what has DSS got to do with governor of Enugu State? Then as a wise human being that you must be, you begin to connect the dot that these are proxies. They have had so much agreement, so much documents have been signed before they are even allowed to sit on that seat. This is to show you that we don't have any leader politically in our land. The only structure and leader we have is Mazi, Kanu, and Ipob support, headed by the DOS, Chike. This is the only people that are your savior. You don't have any other savior. It's not like you're praying for God of Abraham or God of Jacob, Isaac to come and save you. No, this is God of Igbo land. These are saviors of Biafrans. Because they are coming in every generation, people are born for a reason. This is our generation. I have looked front and back and see that it's a divine call. Because if not for these people, if not for what we are doing, I don't think you will be answering that Igbo man that you're answering today. Look at today, the killing in Aba without provocation. Chasing a whole street, chasing people, all the area. People were running hairstyles. If they catch you, they begin to dehumanize you, treat you in a manner that treat you as if you're a goat or animal that is set out to be killed, which is how they see you as an Igbo man, of course. So, coming to what is it called before I round up, Mefele and the court case. Mefele, yes, he's a Biafran. But one thing our leader taught us in this life is this: go and serve the zoo and come back. It's as simple as that. When you are in some of these things are kind of a lesson for people to draw their moral lesson from. But it's just our people, we worship money than sense. So this has been the problem of our people. We don't know that we don't have a place in Nigeria, be it politically, anywhere, economically, anywhere you are. As you are an Igbo man, just look for their trouble and you will see the beast. You will see the one Nigeria happening to you. But when you say it, it seems as if you're bringing division or hate speech. It's happening. We are not happy about it, but it's the injustice for one is injustice for all. So we're going to return your whole. I'm not move here. I'm not going to do my round up here. So that's for what you do.
Thank you very much, Mazi. I appreciate. Thank you very much. The issue is our people. Do we learn? Do we learn? Do we learn? That is the question. Do we learn? Do we even want to learn? Do we even want to learn? We must defend ourselves, and defending ourselves also has to do with us not being made, not making ourselves available for to be used as tools to destroy ourselves. When you defend yourself, you don't make yourself a tool in the hands of your enemies. I have a caller on the line. Another caller on the line. Caller, you are live on radio. Okay. What is going on with my network? Is it mine? No, I don't think it is mine. Okay, you are live on Radio Biafra, Motherland. Please go ahead, introduce yourself and your opinion. Ndewo.
Thank you very much. My name is Chukwimano. I'm speaking from my location. I greet you once again, as always. I thank our leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, who set up this platform to expose all the evil the British and their allied are creating all over the whole world, especially in Nigeria. Nigeria is a headquarter of Satan, black race in Africa. Without dissolving Nigeria, black people will remain slaves forever. I want to go straight to Emefiele. What is going on Emefiele case today is more or less the same thing with the Onehe. It's more or less the same, because when they want to remove Onehe, they start to accuse him on left and right, up and down, and after the whole thing, they remove him and fix Tanko Mohammed. The same thing they are going to do now in the Emefiele case. My problem is that people who claim they are educated, mostly the Igbo people, up to today, some of them who are claiming they are educated are mostly the foolish ones. They don't know the meaning of unity. On 12 October 1960, 12 days after independence, Ahmadu Bello said, "This country called Nigeria, Shebi, is our father estate. We will ruthlessly prevent not to change the government. We use the middle belt as a winning tool. The South has conquered territory. We will not allow them to rule over us, and we will not allow them to control their own future." All these 10 points, they have concluded everything. And this is agreement between them and Britain, that they will help them to hold other indigenous people in Nigeria down. They use the middle belt, which is Gowon, at the time of that. Today, they are working ahead with Britain and the white people. My problem is somebody like Obasanjo, who's supposed to know what Nigeria is all about. Obasanjo know all the whole coup that were planned in Nigeria. Obasanjo is involved because Britain is involved. All the coup made in Nigeria, all the way from 1970, 1960. Obasanjo know about it. Obasanjo, all these years, how many years Obasanjo is going to stay here and die? Obasanjo know that this is the only chance he has to raise to make sure he liberates Yorubas from bondage of slave. They are using seaport to deceive Yorubas. They are using all manner of things because Britain and Fulanis are working hand in hand to make sure Nigeria remains as it is. But can any of these politicians who say they are politicians from the East, can they learn? The answer is no. The Fulani are doing everything humanly possible with Britain. That is why they remove a governor from Imo State and put to hope Uzodimma Onyosi. An evil seed. They sowed that evil seed in Imo State. And he's doing everything to hand over Imo State to Fulanis, by all means. Hope Uzodimma don't know that a day will come that he will die. All the evil he did will remain if he has wife, if he has children. His children will be responsible for all he has done, including all the slaves in the name of governors and senators and the House of Representatives who are living in Abuja. These people has no shame because your people is your power. If you have your people, if you are against your people, your enemy already know that you are their enemy. They know you as their enemy. But it is only you who are so stupid and foolish, don't know that the enemy know that you are their enemy. And you are creating an enemy from your people. Then where are you going? You are going nowhere. They will be picking them one by one, destroying them one by one. And some foolish one will continue going because they have no shame as a human being. The white people have seen black people as the worst stupid people, especially in Nigeria. Any person who says he's a Nigeria is a shameless human being.
Thank you.
Be you who? You're a shameless human being. So what am I concluding is this. If Emefiele and other ones cannot reason, the hard time are coming to them one after the other. The Fulani know where they are going. The Britain know their way. They are the whole white people who are under them, working very hard. They know where they are going. Our leaders have done so much for our people. And I hope if they repent now, it's not too late. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. All hell Biafra. Thank you and God bless. I have a caller on the line. Caller, you'll be the last caller for tonight. Please go ahead, introduce yourself and your opinion. Ndeo.
Yes, Mazi Sochi Mambanani. Watching Kudo Delegi. Great Biafrans, Udo Chupoku Kabia Madundi Homan Adima. My name is Mazi Obasejike. I'm calling from blessed land of Biafra. Obodo Chukwu goziri agozi. Biafra is our religion. Mazi Nnamdi is our leader. On this hollow platform is where we worship. Chukwu Kabiyama is our God. Nobody can take it away from us. God has already chosen us to worship Him. And we will continue until eternity. We are great people, but saboteur is trying to destroy our land. You said something about, we are talking about what is happening in the zoo. Yes, I am not surprised because I followed the truth. I followed the honest man who teaches us the truth, how to reason, ability to reason. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu started 2012 to teaching us from this hollow platform to direct us what is about to happen and what the zoo is trying to do. Zoo is a lawless country. We know how their rules, starting from day one. I'm not surprised when you see the same thing are fighting for one something. Because why? they are supported evil. When our leader was granted bail first, 2014, they said no. They said no, and that thing lingered, and the people was supporting some in social media talking rubbish. Today they are crying. Today I'm seeing all the Palestine shouting this, shouting that. You see, when our leader said, "Kekam se meye oji batu oji mejo unu," allow us to handle Fulani people. That said no, bring the army, bring the Python dance 1, Python dance 2, Python dance 3. Today we are here, and the people now are complaining about the zoo. I am not complaining. Our leader made me to understand what is coming, what is zoo is turning to be, and we are happy that it is affecting everybody now. So great Biafrans, prepare your mind and train yourself hard. You know, in the zoo, who is ruling in the zoo now is who person with a beak. If you are with a beak and your handwriting is green, you know you are going to rule the zoo. Get Biafrans, get ready. These people who cannot allow us, they are already made up their mind. What we answered, we are asking those they are called themselves elite, those they are called themselves religious leaders, those they are called themselves Igwes in our land, to stand up and demand the release of our leader Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. That is the only thing that will bring peace and honey and the peace in our land. What we demand is to release our leader for us. That is the only thing. Whatever they are doing, we don't care. What we want is release our leader for us. Yes. Thank you, Mazi, for your good work. May Rohim bless all the true Biafrans. Our leader must be released. As they are holding our leader, Nigeria will be sinking, and the whole world will be seeing what we IPOB saw to demand their own freedom. Thank you, Mazi, for your good work.
Thank you very much. Udo de Kwarage. Thank you very much, great Biafrans. Unfortunately, I have to round it up here. This is it's already time up, so I just have to round it up here. Thank you very much for being part of this program this evening. Remember, tomorrow we will continue on this conversation. Tomorrow, do join us tomorrow for more. The same time, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Ndewa.
Where you come from, send him to that